just didn't do them for long enough. I think our preparation by our staff and players was really good. I think we knew exactly what we had to do in order to have a chance to win. And I think there were consecutive minutes where the 5 kids on the floor did that. The thing that we struggled with is we need all 5 to play with great discipline and great execution for a longer stretch, whoever those 5 are. But I thought we did some good things. Wisconsin is not going to beat themselves. And we turned the ball over at too high of a rate and then gave them too many extra possessions on the offensive glass. And I thought that that was the difference in the game.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go to Evan.
Coach, you're obviously really familiar with Wisconsin. What did you just tell your players about what type of game this would be and what to expect from the Badgers? As you know, they often don't change year in and year out, no matter who the personnel is.
We played Wednesday afternoon and we took Thursday off, and then we do 2-day prep, 1-day prep, and then obviously game day. A little different because we traveled earlier than normal to Vegas. The way that we started 2-day prep was just to give them context on how Wisconsin plays. And obviously I have the utmost respect for Coach Gard and have known him for a long, long time. And I think he's doing a lot of the same things from a fundamental standpoint that Coach Ryan did. Maybe a little faster in pace at times, but categorically the same. And so we showed them some clips of our 6 games, Marquette versus Wisconsin. We showed them some clips of Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, and the NCAA tournament. You know, I think your defense against Wisconsin has to be better in the last 10 seconds than the first 20 seconds. When you look at thus far through 3 games entering today, 42% of their shots are happening in the paint. And one of the highest number of shots in the country that happen in the last 10 seconds. And I think even today, we call that fire when it gets to the last 10 seconds. I thought in fire, when we were on defense, they scored at a higher rate than you have to in order to beat Wisconsin. And then the same is true offensively. If you're going to try to take good shots, you have to be comfortable playing late in the possession, and we call that ice. And both fire and ice today, we were not as good as we needed to be in order to beat them. Some of that is because our turnovers happened before it got to ice, and then some of those back-breaking, you don't get clean rebounds against Wisconsin. Everything is going to be a tip. And if they're going to shoot in the last 10 seconds, and then they get an offensive rebound, you have to be tough enough to guard them again for another 25, 27 seconds. And I thought those things were the difference. And those are the things that we practiced and we showed them. We just didn't execute it well enough to have a chance.
Second row.
Dave Sandtop, TexAgs.com, here for Logan. So, hey Coach,
Good to see you.
good seeing you. Wanted to ask you, I certainly got off to the quick start. I think it was 33-20, about the 7-minute mark of the first half.
Yep.
Then you went to the rest of the 7 minutes without a field goal,
Yes.
and that kind of went to the segment. Did Wisconsin do anything schematically that changed that, or was it more of an execution issue?
Yeah, I don't know if they changed anything without trying to coach their team. I don't know that schematically they did anything. I think that was just kind of the realization for our guys. When you play Wisconsin, there's not going to be a home run hit. There's not going to be a knockout punch. It's throw good pitches, throw good pitches, throw good pitches, and then body blow, body blow, body blow. And I thought we started great, and then as you said, we did not close out the half the right way. That bled into the start of the second half, and that gap where we didn't execute all of those things that I was talking about, that was the difference in the game. It's a 5-possession game, and those 5 possessions were kind of right there in the middle of the game. We ended fine. We started great. It was not being able, we excelled, and you can't excel against Wisconsin.
Go back to Evan.
Coach, I'm guessing you saw the Wisconsin-Providence game where they played without Davis.
I think I love 34, and he's going to have a bright future in coaching. I think Juan is a really good prospect, and I think Juan changes their team. And I don't necessarily think that it's schematically that they change anything, but I think there's more of a priority when Juan is in the game and what they're trying to accomplish. And if you were to chart everything they did in their 2 guarantee games when Juan played, and then chart what they did in their game against Providence, it was different. And it was different because Juan wasn't playing. But I think at halftime, I think they had shot 26 of their balls. I could be wrong on that. So for the game, they shot 34 of their 58. And for the first 25 minutes, that percentage was even higher. I think he's a good prospect. I don't know if I interrupted.
You got it. You got it.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one last question, second row.
Yeah, Coach, today was obviously, against Wisconsin, probably the most physical and lengthy team that you played this
Yes.
season. How would you grade your team overall and how they dealt with that size? It seemed like, especially in the paint, that they really changed a lot of shots.
They change shots, and then you think, regardless of your size, hey, I'm blocking out and I'm about to get the ball. And then as you're about to get the ball, here comes a deflection, here comes a tip. They don't stop when the ball's in the air. And I think that's what makes them so good, is when the ball is in the air, they're not gonna settle behind on your back. They're gonna swim move, they're gonna try to get around, they're gonna try to get a tip. And I think there were spots, David, when we did a good job. You just have to know that it's gonna be a game full of unclean rebounds, and you have to feel the responsibility regardless of who you are when you're on defense. I have to get that ball. And we did a lot of advantage, disadvantage rebounding drills on Friday and Saturday in preparation for that. And that was one thing that I mentioned to our guys at halftime, and even again at the end of the game. Was there anything in preparing that happened that you weren't prepared for? And they were like, no, it was exactly what we saw, it was exactly what we practiced, it was exactly what we talked about. We did do good. I think Henry being in foul trouble kind of changed us a little bit on the offensive glass. I think Marcus being in foul trouble changed us the last 6 or 8 minutes of the first half. We need both of those guys from a stability standpoint on the glass and some flow in what we're trying to accomplish offensively. But we will have to finish many games, not just Wisconsin. We'll have to finish many games over the course of the season with better discipline and better execution on the things that beat us today.